What's up, George?
Hey, Carlos, how are you?
We're back.
Here we are.
We're back.
Here we are.
Yes.
It's
We are.
September.
What episode? Yeah. What
50,
episode is this now?
52?
That's insane to me. I cannot believe it.
52?
I cannot believe it. And yes, it is September. We have officially passed the 6-month mark since this craziness. And it's all good. It's all good.
I mean, it is what it is what it, I think that's my sentence.
Yes, it is what it is. And
It is what it
working
is.
with what we got.
Making chicken pie out of chicken shit.
Yeah, okay, we can do that.
Whatever.
Yeah, man. I'm very excited because we decided, for those of you that have been following along with us,
Yes,
we have decided to move on from the book.
Move on.
Yes, we are moving on, which is going to be a big theme for today. And but we're moving on from the book A New Earth, and it's not to devalue it or discount it in any way. We are obviously very big fans, but the rest of the chapters take us to a point that, if you followed us along through the essential chapters and you reach that point, we're going to leave the rest up to you guys. All right. And you're always welcome to discuss points with us and email us and contact us. But George and I were talking, and we just miss talking about the stuff that this podcast was founded on. And we just want to kind of move on and continue doing more of that, especially since we have passed the 50th episode. And we're so excited for that, because this is what I'm calling the acceleration point. The goal, anybody that I told that I was starting a podcast said, don't plan anything until you can get to 50 episodes. If you get to 50 episodes and you can continue and you feel like it's just starting, then you're doing something right.
Well,
and
I mean,
here we are.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we're doing something right.
And I definitely feel like we're just starting something. Like, even if it's 50 episodes in, and considering that, like, so you know how the social media sites like Facebook and Instagram have that thing where they like to remind us of memories?
Yeah.
And so now what's happening on our Instagram feed is that we're starting to see all of the posts from when we first started this. You and I at your old studio, setting up for the first episode. Like, it's been that the year has passed, and it's just like, okay, good. And all of those things are behind us, and like the world is completely different than it was when we started doing this. And so, yeah, like, it's time to move on. It's like, that's it.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just I'm really grateful for our listeners. I'm grateful for the people who support this podcast. I just can't believe it. It's really cool when people text and say, hey, enjoyed the episode, or hey, I've had a few people be like, hey, I'll tune back in when you stop talking about the book. Well, here we are.
We're back. We're
talking about the book.
It's done.
So how's everything with you? How are you feeling? How are you doing? You look great. The beard is epic. For those of you that are listening and not watching the YouTube video, George's beard is starting to look really filled in and really epic right now.
Well, I wouldn't use, you're very kind with those words. I would not use the word epic to describe this beard. But the fact is that, like, I basically waited 41 years to let a beard grow in, because I always thought that I could not grow a beard. So at one point,
boy, were you wrong.
Well, like, it's that thing where, like, it starts to, like, get very patchy and scraggly the further up, like, the cheek you go, like, into this, like, it doesn't really connect into the sideburn. It doesn't have that good, like, 5 o'clock shadow. It doesn't get very, it's patchy and scruffy. It's more scruffy than, like, full beard, like,
right.
I'm never gonna have, like, well, I don't know, I'd never say never, but I did buy myself a beard, like, it's like a beard roller thing. Have you heard about these things?
No, I have not.
it's like this little like it's basically like microdermabrasion or like these little like it's a little think of it like as a handheld like I guess pizza dough roller or like maybe like a handheld little painter stick, but the little painter stick has little needles, and you roll that against your face where the hair follicle is, and it's supposed to like stimulate new hair growth and I guess let the hair that's underneath and trapped through the skin to like pop out.
Wow.
Yeah. So
have you been using any beard oil?
No. But
Okay.
David has beard oil, but David has like a very good beard, you know, like
yeah,
he's got a big ass beard. But no, I haven't really been doing that.
Okay. Well,
but it's there. And like I haven't like I thought I was I posed a question to a couple people as to whether I should like trim it because I'm getting a haircut on Friday. I'm like, do I trim it or do I just like let it ride? And everyone's like, let it ride. I'm like, let it ride.
Let it ride.
I do like it. I do like it.
You should. It looks great.
Like it. It's part of my rebrand.
Yeah, your rebrand.
I'm rebranding.
Ooh, I want to know more about the rebrand.
I don't have details to share today.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, you know what it is? It's like I've gotten to the point at my age where I realized that I have been programmed to think one certain way. Realize isn't the word, but like I was programmed to think the entire time that you're supposed to like work a job, and then you do that job and then you make a lot of money because you stay at the job for a very long time, or you bounce around from career to career, just making your income higher and higher and higher and higher and higher to eventually like be able to retire. Well, those days are, as we know, fucking dead in the water.
Yeah.
That's gone, right? At least for someone, I guess now at in my age, like if for me to do that, like the things that I would have to do to like line up with that kind of a track, I don't want to do.
Right.
You know, having spent the last several weeks, you know, coming to understand, you know, what makes me tick, how I tick, and all those things. Like when I realize the things that I want to do, and there's also like I have realized the things that I want to do, and I have also gratefully realized the things that I do not want to do anymore.
Great.
You know, nice. So like the moving on part is a lot of like kind of like understanding that like I don't want to fucking do this, and then it's like, why were we doing it in the first place? Oh yeah, because we felt obligated to because of like da 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 da, and it's like just own who you are and fuck the rest.
That's right.
Like I was having another conversation with a friend on Sunday, and he was just saying, he's like, dude, you know, I feel, he's our age, and he's like, for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm just doing whatever the fuck I want to do, and we were talking about like, he was talking about like an artistic expression, like he's felt stuck for a long time, so like not being able to like let some of these things that he wanted to let out, and so now he's found a way to do that, and he's gotten some pushback because he has a conservative family, and he's been like seen as this kind of person, and now he's breaking out of that box, right? You know, right. Now he's like presenting himself as like a person who he really feels he truly is, but it's taken 41 years to get there. And so people who have known him for that long are like, wait, what are you doing? And he's like, guys, this has always been inside. So there's
I was conforming, so it was never let out until
like, and you've seen it, and you probably told me to tone it down.
Right.
That's what I've been. I share that experience with him. Like, there's been things about me, like, again, I'm glad that we did what we did, and like, we don't have to talk about it, but like it churned up a lot. It churned up a lot of things that I feel like were packed and settled in as like things that like I told myself I have to accept. Mm. And I don't know if that was like a pill that I forced in my throat in my 30s to like force myself to grow up or whatever. Like just like cram up. I don't know. Anyways, it all came out, and I'm just like rebranding. Pivoting,
rebranding,
finding new opportunities and ways to truly like, I guess like I have feeling like I have found kind of like my purpose, and then to like monetize that.
There you go.
That's the kicker. Like I really am seeking, like I need to set myself up for financial freedom, because I don't want to be like doing something I don't want to do for the rest of my life. I have a lot of fucking life that I want to see and live and do, and I need to set things up. I need to set things up now so that they can start churning and working for me, you know, within the next, you know, 10, 15, 20 years.
That's right.
So that by the time we're 65, 70, like all that stuff is all good to go. I've like created the system that works for me, and like it's like sustaining me in a way that like I want, in the life that I want to live.
Yeah. Woo, you're inspiring me, Matt, right now, man. This is awesome.
And it's in a very non-traditional, I mean, it's like a non-traditional track. It's definitely gonna like, questions, you know, flags will be raised, questions will be had. Like I've had already conversations, but like we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, do it unapologetically and don't ask for permission.
No.
That's it.
No, it's like, and it's all based like in truth, right? Like this is like really who I am. Like I really believe all of this stuff, and I'm not gonna, that. So.
Fantastic, man. Yeah, and that's where like moving on.
I mean, like listen, when you no longer are attached to like the person who, or like the story of your life, or like who you think you're supposed to be, and like you basically take like, you know, you take the erase the whiteboard and you just fucking erase it. Just what happens when you fucking just clean the slate and just be like, all right, what's next?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I love this topic. I've been struggling with the concept of moving on because I have these ups and downs, and they're getting really exhausting, you know, and I've acknowledged that. And the ups and downs I'm referring to are, okay, I'm 41 and I've lived a lot, and I've lived very hard, and I've done a lot of cool shit, and I still do a lot of cool shit. So like, really, like, what is there to look forward to? You know what I mean? Like, what now? Like, you know, aging, you know, I go down that dark path.
Wow.
And then I have these, and then I have these, you know, highs where I'm like, damn, you know, like if I stay healthy, barring any, God forbid, any illnesses or tragic accidents, man, I could potentially live to like 90, you know, and which would mean that I have like technically more ahead of me than I have behind me.
Yeah.
And holy shit, you know, like, and I've just learned about something really key about myself, is that I myself have always pictured or have had, I guess, assumptions and preconceived notions of older people, what people in their 40s and 50s and 60s look like, what they do, what they say, what they are like. And it's, and I kind of struggle between being what that expectation is, or that preconceived notion is, versus living the now, being present, like we've just gone over in this book, and embracing what it means to be 40 today, and what it will mean to be 50 and 60 and so forth. So I've been kind of like, I need to move on from this. And I guess that's my point. I need to pick a path and just go with it, because, you know, career-wise, everything's going great. Music, everything's going great. My marriage, everything's going great. The kids are great. Everyone is healthy. Everyone is whole. And I'm holding myself back, like, okay, well, I guess this is just life now, and I just go through emotions every day. And I'm like, wait a minute, no, you know, that's not what you're supposed to do. Keep experiencing new things, and I need to stay, or do whatever it takes to stay on that path. So,
you know, it's definitely, I know how this is gonna sound, but I do not do well with idle hands. Even though there's a part of me that like loves doing nothing.
Yeah,
I really enjoy the nothingness, and I've said it before, like there's nothing more I'd like to do than nothing. Like, or I used to say, like, I work so hard for like this place where I live, and it's so beautiful, like I don't want to go anywhere or do anything else. I just want to enjoy this. And maybe it's because we've been doing this for the last 6 months.
That's right.
And we're like, now we're like, we have grown and we're woke and it's just like, get me out of the house! I want to go somewhere else with my people.
Which, speaking of moving on, that's going to be collectively how we collectively entered this quarantine and social distancing. Now we have to collectively move on from this and exit this, this part of our lives.
Bye.
Yeah.
Now I'm gone. Bye.
Oh my God. I have had the most funny interactions with people. This is not a political podcast.
No, not in the least.
All right.
No.
So whatever I say, it's whatever. Don't because
yes.
If you're gonna be hypersensitive, this isn't the podcast for you. So but so like there was I was playing music last week and there was a table and I loved it. There was a table of people and they were they were just like, fuck it, like, and they had shirts. They all had shirts and the shirts said, "Normal is the new normal." Normal is the new normal. And I'll tell you that these people did not give a flying fuck about shit, about nothing. I mean, they were just like, I don't even think they had a face mask. I don't think they own a face mask, and it's like, my point to this is not that I think they're cool and all. I mean, it was funny and we got a good kick out of it, but like, this is going to be, this is like interesting because then it's like, there's people are going to have trouble moving on from it. I mean, there's people who still don't want to go back to the office. There's people who are still not leaving their house. And then there's other people that are just like, they were all about the quarantine. They owned up to it. They did everything they had to do. They did everything perfect. And they're just like, hey, listen, I don't give a fuck what happens. Thanksgiving, masks are off and my family's coming over for dinner. I don't give a fuck what you have to say. And I'm like, okay, that's one way to go about it. So moving on is going to be really hard because the question is there a good time to go back to things? No,
we don't. The answer is no. You don't go back.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go back. We already know. We know better. We don't go back. We don't return. You cannot return to something that has already occurred. It's over. You don't go back to things. You are where you are in that place. Listen, if you are, oh my God, we'll just speak plainly. That works. Plain speak. If you don't believe what the CDC says, then you will proceed to not wear what they recommend you to do, and that's what you will do. And you'll do that because you believe whatever you believe. And if you are, and then if you're on the opposite side of that coin, you will do whatever you think is best for you. And the likelihood is one person will criticize the other person, and they'll just go back and forth.
Yeah, it'll be a cycle.
I don't give a fuck about any of those fucking people. I hope those people kill themselves or each other. No, actually, I hope they kill each other because they both fucking suck. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care how angry you are. I don't care how mad you are. I don't care about your mask. I don't care about your anti-mask. I don't care about your vax. I don't care about your anti-vax. I don't care about any of that shit. I don't care. It's all noise. Your chatter, your noise, your stress, your anxiety, your inability to cope with your bullshit is on you.
I know.
I will govern myself accordingly, and I'm also going to keep my fucking opinions in my mouth shut to myself because that's how I want to live. I want to be able to move through space freely without encumbrance, and like, yes, I get that world that we live in. I understand, like, and all this, and so I safeguard myself and I just proceed forward, and I'm not going to like, I have a plan for myself. Like, I've done my work. I am going to move on for myself. And it's going to be like, okay, I don't want to go that way because those fucking crazy people are over there. And I don't want to go over that way because even though my friends are over there, they're acting fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, when you spend, like, you and I have spent time, like, we dove deep.
Yeah.
I think we dove deeper than people maybe around us.
Yeah.
And so now we're like on the other side of it, and we're just like, we feel bright, like we're wearing it. I feel like we're just wearing a different set of glasses. And yeah, dude, like I don't like I've been in the rooms with both of those teams, and I roll my eyes exactly like this with the same level of like hardness. I don't know how to say it. I'm just like, oh brother, oh brother, oh brother.
Right.
But yeah, no, like listen, I get it. Like I saw a video of people like running around Target, like, take your masks off. Take your masks off. And then I saw people like, screaming and yelling that you're a slut. Like it's just like, like what? It's just
Like why do you invest your time in that? Yeah, what do you get out of it? How does it serve you? How does it change anything? I know, man. I know.
Like, I don't have to agree with somebody, but when I see someone doing something that I don't want to be a part of, I just like remove myself from the situation. Maybe that's just, I guess I've always been more of like that kind of a person anyways to begin with. And I also subscribe to like a live and let live like way of life. I really do. Because the moment that you start to like try to check and balance somebody else, it's like things get out of whack. Like just fucking, dude, tend to yourself and like help your man. Like, I don't know. I want to go away. I don't even know where I want to go, honestly.
Yeah, where do we want to go? Where would you travel to if you could go anywhere right now?
You and I to go somewhere.
Oh, that would be cool.
I want to go to, I don't know. I just want to like ride out with like fun people and do fun things. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I mean? We should plan some. Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's a part of me that really want, like, I definitely like. I want to like. I love our city. I love Miami. I love everything about it. I want to see something different.
Yeah.
I would like to have a different, like, I want to, like, I don't know if it's like going to like North Carolina and being up in the Smoky Mountains and just like fucking hiking around. I don't know if it's like being in a place where it's like fucking quiet. I've been watching this show on Netflix called Chef's Table. Have you seen this?
I have not. I've heard great things though.
I don't even know how it came across my radar, to be honest with you. But like it did. And I started watching it and I was like, this is a really good show. And it's not so much about like, I mean, the food is amazing that they do, right? Because these people that are creating these foods are just like, they're the masters of their crafts. And the producers behind it are doing such a beautiful job of telling this, of showing the things. And I'm such a visual person that the show is visually like appealing, and not in a way that makes you want to eat the food, just in like, wow, that's really pretty, like the way that they shoot things. And it really goes into the story of these chefs and like how they come to be. And there's so much of like, there's a common theme of like, I fought against all of these things about myself. Like I had to leave to become someone, and then everyone always kind of like comes back home, or there's like this homecoming thing, or like there's like a like you go out into the world like trying to like experience as much, and then you always bring it back into like who you really like. All those experiences come together to create something that is brand new, and the brand new for the chefs is always like the best meal. Like it's always like, I started here, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do this, I went here, I learned this, and this, and then it all comes together in this amazing menu, and then they like win all these awards, and it's like they become, the lesson is that like you spend time on the outside looking for things to fill you, but they never do fill you. But what they do is they create something that becomes like it transforms it. It's like the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. The metamorphosis is violent and hard, and it's like tense, and there's so many things that happen. We've talked about this before, like the videos of the Chris. But then what comes out of it is like just this amazing thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how that we got.
It becomes a design for life too. It becomes like your design for life.
And like so many of these people live in like these like very like kind of like secluded areas. I watched this one. I'm not even going to attempt to say her name because I'm only going to like make it really bad.
Yeah.
Butcher, thank you. And she's not a butcher because I did see an episode of a butcher, and the butcher one is very good. He's Italian, but so then she's from Georgia, and she was a social worker, and then and that was terrible. So she got an externship, and she went to Paris, and she learned how to cook, and then she worked in all these kitchens, and nothing ever felt right. So then she got an opportunity, and she went back home, and she started understanding of who the roots of her home, and then she took all of the experience that she had, and she created this whole new thing, and now she's fucking killing it.
Right. That's amazing.
And I knew that I liked her a lot because she says something. She invented, or she created this plate of food, which I guess is one of her unique or her signature dishes, which is foie gras over grits. Right?
Yeah.
So she's Southern, but she's classically French trained. So it's the fusion of classical French training, the best way of doing food, but with her roots, who she is. You accept who you are, you celebrate that thing that comes from within, you take all your experiences and you create something new and unique. And that's the part that I thought was really cool.
Yeah, and you become grateful. You become grateful for those experiences, and you become grateful because it molds you, and you have that realization. And then look what the great things that come about.
And it's being able, that's the moving on process, right? You don't, because we can get it's so easy for us to get stuck in looking, right? I will look over here and it didn't work. So then I look over here and it's not working. And the whole time it's dude, it's cool. Use it. If maybe it didn't work, but use it and take it to the next level. Don't waste anything. Keep it moving. Build on it. I spent 10 years in the fitness space. Really, I started CrossFit, and I call it, since I started CrossFit in 2010. I feel I've been doing fitness for 10 years. That's it. And now it's now I feel I don't have to do any of the stuff that I've done before, and I am the most happy I've ever been.
Right. Yes, dude. Yes.
I don't know. I know that wasn't the point. I know the point started with I wanted to go somewhere and see things, but that's the thing. I do want to go and see things. I don't want to just be, my story needs more detalle. It needs more detail. I need to see things. I want to go be in places.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's harder for us culturally because we can't really go to Cuba, and if we did, or if I did, there's nobody there to show me. And all these other things. But I don't know. I'm in a moment of exploration, I guess. I'm very open.
Yeah. Well, I have a cousin that lives in Vancouver, so
fuck, we gotta go to fucking Canada. I am dying to go to
my cousin
Canada.
She's first of all, she's in the film industry, and she's been on some really big projects. She's worked with some legit actors. She's worked with Adam Sandler and Al Pacino, and really, really she's
Is she a producer
for years. I believe she is. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, I was messaging with her the other day, and I was like, listen, when Canada starts letting us in, we're going. We got to go. I've
started. You know how bad? I'll tell you how bad it got, or it's gotten. Maybe it's not bad, but I'll tell you how open I become. I would be willing to get in a camper and drive somewhere.
Yeah.
Just to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to a wedding in Helen, Georgia on Halloween weekend, and we're just stoked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's yeah, I get you. We're gonna get to have all that, and that's part how do you move on from something? I think you've said some really key things, though, man. How do you?
I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I'm a little frazzled today. I'm definitely but I'm frazzled.
You're frazzled, but you're making strong points, which is great for being frazzled. Because I loved what you said. Part of moving on, number one, is acknowledging that you don't go back to something. I mean, that when you said that, I was like, man, so fundamental, so important, because essentially that is the contradiction, right? You can't move on if you are waiting to go back to something. So that's number one.
Yeah, because you're
right?
holding.
You're holding on, and you're limiting yourself to new experiences, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's crucial, and then yeah, I mean, moving on, the whole thing of just taking a path and going with it, and reassessing and reevaluating yourself, what you're about, who you are, what norms are you willing to like stray away from in order for you to be just unapologetically you, and be able to just reach that point where you don't need permission to be who you are and how you are. And I think that's going to be, those are a lot of tools that we're going to need moving on, just collectively, culturally, and independently, individually.
I have a question about like, about the part of like, about the idea of like who you are, or being who you are, being unapologetic, or how do you like counsel the person that feels like who they are is like on the fringes of acceptability, right? Like I have a conservative job, I have a conservative family. Who I am flies in the face of that, and I have a hard time reconciling the two worlds. Like, how can I be who I feel like I really want to be, and still like play it safe?
You can't. You can't do it. When you do the first, there's two parts to that. You everything you said, and then you threw in being safe. Right? So everything you said prior to that is basically creating a version of yourself that other people are comfortable with.
Yes.
Right? And that's what we're trained to do. I mean, that's why. I mean, why is it, and I'm generalizing here, but why is it that the quote unquote, I have air quotes, the quote unquote black sheep of the family is usually the happier, more free spirit one, that's at the end of the day, people end up saying, or their family members even end up saying, damn, you know what, he was always different than us, but fuck, he's happy. He's doing it. He's out there living the life he wants to live. And there's a reason for that, because the black sheep, what is the black sheep? The black sheep of a family, or the black sheep of a group, is just, all it is somebody who just is not going to conform or behave or be a certain way that makes others happy, right? So it really becomes this, it goes back to the self-worth and self-concept thing, where you have the tyranny of the shoulds, and it's a list of things that we believe we should do and should believe. And the number one thing on that list is, oh, I believe that everybody should like me. And no, not everyone should like you. Not everyone is supposed to like you. Not everyone is gonna like you. And you're always, in every decision you make, are gonna make someone else uncomfortable. Always. The problem is that we make decisions that make ourselves uncomfortable because we want to please others. So how do you do it and do it in a safe way? There's no, well, it depends what you mean by safe, but there's no way of doing what you want to do without people getting pissed off. We go back to my story, and I know I've said it 100 times on this podcast, but if we go back to my story, what was the narrative that people had? The narrative that people were comfortable with when I separated from my ex. The narrative was, look at him. He left his family. I never left my family. He's out playing music like some freaking wannabe rock star. I had no intentions on being a rock star. I was going to school to be a therapist. He's drinking his ass off and partying every night when he should be at home with his kids. I wasn't partying every night, and people were just uncomfortable because although that's a comfortable narrative where people can feel better about themselves, then I just had to keep at it because the end result spoke for itself.
Sure.
To the point that people have called me and said, we were worried about you for a while, but man, you really came out strong. And I was like, I was coming out strong from the beginning. You just didn't understand the plan. You were just uncomfortable. My journey made you uncomfortable. So the only way you can regain or you can gain or have that comfort again is by you writing a narrative that you're comfortable with.
Sure.
So yeah, you got to make people uncomfortable. People got to be unhappy with your decisions. Some people would even argue if people are unhappy with your decisions, you might be doing something right.
Yes. Yes. I see that. It's frightening. They don't tell you that part.
Nope.
People don't talk
Not
about
in
how
the manual.
scary it is. People don't tell you how scary it is to understand the change. Strike that. People don't understand and talk about how scary it is to face down the thing that you know that you need to get over to get to where you want to go. To let go of the things that you have held on to so hard to get to where you really feel like you need to go. And like we've talked about feelings and being whatever, like, but still, like there's a compass that pulls you. You can't go sorry.
It's okay.
I'm trying to gather my thoughts. Having come to understand what we've come to understand through the process of this book, it cracks open your head if you let it. If you get it, if you understand it, maybe you do get it, you understand it, you don't buy it, and you just close the book and you move on. It didn't happen to me. Something happened. And I can't once I don't know, once you break, once something breaks open and spills out, you can't put it back into the box. It can't go back inside.
That's right.
It can't go back inside. And there are times where I wish I could. But I don't want to be sad anymore either. Or upset. And I don't want the rest of my life to feel wasted. And I don't feel like my life is wasted. But I've held back. I have held back because I'm so extra or I'm too much but when I lean into that, some good things come, so many, there's a lot more good that comes from that than the bad, the criticism, and for whatever reason, I only hear the criticism. I only hear that's me. I hear the criticism. I hear the negative. I hear that. It's and I'd be like, oh, George gotta fucking tone it down. Put the pot on. Keep it low. Chill out. But there's I don't know, an energy and electricity that when I feel it coming up, if I don't let it out, I will. No, it's worse. I won't pop. I'll just die. I'll just die.
Yeah, you'll shut off.
I'll just be well, it's pointless. What's the point?
Right.
I don't want to live a life that's pointless.
Right.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, man. It's scary. It's very scary. That thought is very scary.
So yeah. So moving on is the goal, but it gets really hard to do it when you think about the whole totality, right? So like what I'm doing is like I baby step it. Like I kind of have an idea of like where I want to end up or where I want to go, and the things I want to do is like all these plans and like all this like rebranding and everything I talked about earlier. And like when I start to see like the red flags or the barriers or like the fear and the stuff coming in, and like I just kind of like triage it, even though I know we're not supposed to like have the imaginary conversation. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna spend like fucking 5 minutes just triaging this conversation and being ready to like defend my decision, because that's what I need to do to like get myself over it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The same way that we like, I don't know, scale a workout so that we can get stronger. Like I just need to like spend I'm gonna say, hey, fine, George, 5 minutes, fight with whoever you have to fight with to defend what you're doing, believe what you're saying, and move ahead. And then also like I always tell myself, I'm like, who are you talking to right now? Like when I have my imaginary conversations, I'm like, who are you talking to right now? Are you talking to your parents? Are you talking?
Good question.
Talking to your boss? Are you talking to, I don't know, a court of law?
Right. Yeah.
Who are you talking? Who's your audience?
Yeah.
So that. Yeah. Dude, my head, like, it's just like, I don't know. I can't. The last time I felt like this, it put me on a path to get to where I am today. So understanding that like kind of like brings a smile to my face, because I felt really destitute a long time ago. And what I was able to do is I was able to like basically pick myself up, put myself together, and I pull myself together, shake myself off, and go. And then, then like some other shit happened, and then 10 years later, and then like I had another reset 10 years ago, and I'm here, and now I feel like I'm doing that again.
Yeah. Well, not constantly, but that you're in that average. Like every 5 to 10 years, we reassess and we go changing kind of who we are. We reevaluate. Where we've been, where we are, where we're going.
I mean, how I believe in the sevens. Mine is the sevens, but yes.
Yeah.
Because for me, it just happens to fall like it's 21, 28, 35, and 42. Those are the ones where I get rocked.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, for me, I don't think I remember. I guess for me, I don't know. To be
21, 28, 35, 42. Like if you.
Wow.
Those for me, like they are literally have. And no, I'm not 42 yet. I'm 41, but like it is. I mean, if we call like plus or minus 1.5, 2 years, like it falls in line.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. Like, and I really want, like, around me, I see people like I see people stuck having the same conversations over and over again. Like, I know we're not a political podcast, but we are in a political season, and it's only going to like accelerate between now and November 3rd, and who knows what's going to happen then, and the end of the year, and then the inauguration, and the collective ego, and all of like the fucking left, right, red, white, blue, this, that. It's just a lot, and I don't want to get stuck in it, and I am happy to say that out loud. Yeah. My decisions are made and confident, and honestly, they're none of your fucking business.
Yeah.
I don't remember, like, you know what I don't remember, or when this happened, when we had to be the people that had to like stand up and say, I stand in the face of this, and this is my thing, and if you don't do this, then you are the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I just saw today that there is a documentary that was released, I guess, on Netflix, and it talks about something about the impact of social media on society, and how it has created this, like, I guess these like warring factions, or these like gang things, and like
I started that movie, and I'm looking at my phone.
What's it called?
Because somebody texted it to me.
I haven't seen it.
The Social Dilemma.
I haven't seen it, but I just was made aware of it, and I'm going to watch it because I think it's super duper important. to acknowledge that you may be impacted by something that you're not aware of, and maybe your thinking is skewed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say anything without like trapping myself. But dude, read 1984. You know, read 1984. My gosh, I started reading it and I stopped halfway through because it was creeping me out too much. But I mean, and then that mixed with, I mean, people like to get involved in the minutia and like in the details of stuff, and it's because people are complex and they like to be complex and they like to overthink things and make things more than what they truly are, and sometimes it's better to understand a concept. It's better to understand an umbrella and work your way from there than to like be in the back and forth, you know. And yes, so anyway, this documentary kind of helps you know, paint a picture and understand like how toxic and how this is a channel for good information, for bad information, for misinformation, and a lot of, you know, I think Instagram gives you a minute for videos, and you know, a video that's 20 minutes long, somebody's showing you a minute and they're editing the pieces that you know, it's very scary, you know. And what's happening now, I don't know, with Instagram, about how they're, you know, blocking certain content because they're deeming it as inaccurate information and stuff. I mean, it's
the fact-checking stuff.
The fact-checking stuff, yeah, it's very bizarre. It's very bizarre because I think, and this is just me, I think is that people are just scared of the fact that we truly don't know what's happening. And I think that's the umbrella here. And you know, the government only gives us 10 to 15% of the information of what's truly going on. And I think that things are so scary and things are so different and so much has changed that the one thing that causes irritability, anger, anxiety is the fear of not having control or the fear of not knowing, right? That's like the main, most generic, most common trigger to anxiety, which, you know, creates irritability and anger and all that stuff. So, and I think that that's where all of this is born, is nobody admits it because it would be the end of a conversation and people like to fight and like to argue, but
yeah,
it's really like, dude, I'm not going to engage in a conversation with you based on a fraction of the 15% that we know. So there's 85% of stuff you don't know, and your opinion is like based on a fraction of that information. I mean, so if you start doing the math, why are you going to invest so much energy? You know, and I think that's just people. I just think people are speaking and reacting out of fear, and I think it's very evident, because if they weren't fearful, they wouldn't be so, you know, like down your throat, like, you know, oh, I thought you were an intelligent person, you know, like you should believe this. You're a smart guy, and it's like, okay, you know what? Like this is no longer productive. You know, you're so, you know, so how, you know, so that's where I say we have to move on. We have to move on. How do you move on? Just like you said, focus on you. Gather your opinion. You can do something about it. Thankfully, we still live in a country where we get to go and express our opinion quietly, and
or not quietly.
Yeah.
That's I mean, people want to yell and scream about how this country is not free, but you can literally go into the streets and yell and scream about how horrible this place is or how great this place is.
Yep, that's right. That's right. And you know, so that's
try doing that.
Oh man, let's not even get started with that. I mean,
no.
So people need to move on from so much right now, and I'm guilty. I will fully admit that I'm one of the people that keeps saying, when are we going back to this? And I'm glad that you called me out, because we're not going back to anything.
Never.
We're not going back, period.
Dude,
it's a fallacy.
Think about it this way. There's been cultural resets that have happened in our history since the beginning of time. like the birth, there's literally like AD and BC, huge shift in fucking time. You've got every empire that has fallen and that has come and fallen. That's always shifted. You've basically had World War I and World War II shifts, total shifts in population and culture and everything. Things were never the same after that. You have, the fucking, the Korean War, the Vietnam War. Total shifts. People do not, it changes society. It changes the way people think. Cultural shifts, the 60s, the Civil Rights Movement, Martin Luther King, everything changes. It doesn't, things do not stay the same. Anyone when people will start to talk about the idea of like going back to something or making something better than it was before or making it great again or stuff like that, like this hearkening to like things, a better day, it pulls from the idea of today is bad, it was better before.
Yeah.
So when people say things like, I want to go back to how it was, it's because nostalgia is always, the memory of things is better than the reality of it. We
glorify the past.
Like my mother's cooking was better than like, I'll never make this recipe as good as my mom because my mom's was the best. And it's like literally the same fucking thing, but it's the nostalgia factor. Like, and it's the attachment to that, the feeling of that, the other side of the coin is the same thing. Like, just because something progresses doesn't mean it's better. Like, there's some things don't need to be changed. Like, you don't need to just like make a new. There's not, there's the saying of like, there's more than one way to catch a mouse. Like, okay, but if the fucking trap works, like, dude, don't fucking chill. Like, it's working. I get it. Like, now, here, today.
Yeah.
I know I'm not gonna go back to. We can never go back to September 10th, 2001. The world changed on September 11th, 2001. It'll never be. It was never the same.
It was never the same.
The world will never be the same after coronavirus. You're not gonna go back to the way things were on fucking February 28th, 2020.
Right.
March 2020, everything changed. We're not going back. It's not happening.
Right. Yeah. So we have to move on.
We have to move on. You have to move on. And if you stay stuck and crotchety and you're resisting. I have a friend of mine right now who's coming over to my house and working out with me because he's seen like what I did. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I basically just work out in my backyard. So he's like, can I come work out with you? I said, absolutely. So he comes over and works out with me. And I see them. It's the same like thing. Like we've been there when we're like working out. We're doing something we don't want to do, and so we resist, and it takes longer, and it feels harder. And the moment that you just fucking submit and do it, it's almost like you just get out of your own way, and it becomes like so much easier.
Yeah.
So, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah. We're moving on.
Moving the fuck on.
That's right. So let's do it with, let's do it gracefully. Let's do it well, and let's just.
With good intention too, right? Like I don't want to move on and be like a shithead about it. I'm not gonna be like, I'm moving on and fuck all of you.
No.
I'm not handing out.
I always treat people the way, I'd want to be treated,
Dude,
tolerance, compassion.
Yes, I want world peace. I lead with my heart inside of me. Like I just want world peace. I want to be left alone. I want to do what I want to do. And I know that you and I get it, but just leave me the fuck alone. And I promise I will leave you alone. I don't give a fuck how you choose to see the world and whatever, but just like leave me alone and just do you and I'll do me. And like, let's listen to some good music in the process.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's eat some good food in the process. Like, dude, like there's more things that bring us together than keep us apart.
Yeah.
That's why I love that Chef's Table show. It's food bringing people together. It's music bringing people together. It's just like our humanity that brings people together. Us working out, sweating in the same room together. Like there is a togetherness that like I honestly feel like social distancing is really impacting. And I understand it and I get it and I respect the reasons why. But there is like, at least for me, like a need to like just be able to like share this humanity.
Mm-hmm. right. Man, it is nice to talk about something else. I'm glad we did this, George.
Me too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I feel really pumped right now. Like I feel like, amped right now. This is good.
Stick around and I'll tell you my secret when this is done recording.
All right. I am going to stick around. But first, we got to tell people where they can find us. Where can they find us?
Hey guys, you can find us on Instagram. We are at MOACA Media there. You can find me on Instagram. I am at George I. Sanchez. For questions, comments, and concerns, you can go to our website at moacamedia.com. All things available there. And how about you, Carlos? Who are you and where can they find you?
I am at carlos.escamilla for my professional therapy page, and I'm at carlos305 music for all my music stuff. And you can email us at moacamedia@gmail.com. And yeah, I can't wait for the next recording because it might be in person. So anyway, that's yet to be determined, but I am looking forward to that. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for everything. Thanks for listening. As always, thank you for your support. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.